Welcome to today's episode of the Reach podcast Startup Stimmen. My name is Greta Böske and I'm today's host of this podcast session. I'm a startup coach at Reach Euregio Startup Center, which is the excellent startup center of the University of Münster, and I try to support people interested in starting their own business. Today we're in a very special setting. We're at the Slush'D in Enschede, which is a satellite event of the big startup event Slush in Helsinki. For this reason, you may hear some background noises. The surrounding stages are going on, and many events on this Slush campus are right now happening right in our background. In this podcast episode on deep tech battery innovation, I have two special guests in our studio. Kees Koolen, CEO of Koolen Industries and former CEO of Booking.com. And Michael Wessels, group leader at Fraunhofer Research Institution for Battery Cell Production. Thank you very much for being here today. Welcome in our Slush'D podcast studio, which is set up live on the Slush'D event. You may please introduce yourself personally to our audience.
Hello, my name is Kees Koolen. I'm 58. I studied here in Enschede many years ago, in 88, some years ago. I've been involved all my life as an entrepreneur with companies, built 30 unicorns, and one of them is Booking.com, where I was for 18 years. But next to that, I also did other things. I've been involved with batteries for 13 years. I tried to build a battery factory in the Netherlands until 2018. And then I thought it would be better to work on the energy transition in general. And I became an investor in the energy transition. We are 27 companies now, started 4 years ago, 1,000 people, 160 million turnover and growing extremely fast. And we start to go international now because we're only doing this in the Netherlands. And the demand for these kind of products is on a global scale.
Cool, thank you very much, Kees. And Michael.
Yes, my name is Michael Wessels. I'm working for the Fraunhofer Research Institution for Battery Cell Production, shortly FFB in Münster, Germany. And I'm leading a project team, a group, which is responsible for different tasks like the project management for all current and for future projects, research and development projects. Also, we are focusing on education, meaning transferring battery knowledge to professionals for the growing need of battery experts on the market. And in addition, we are implementing a system for the important transfer of innovations from science and research into business and industry. So those are the three competencies in my group.
Cool. Thank you very much. Michael, or as we say in Germany and in Münster,
yes.
Michael. So
Yeah.
the FFB is also located in Münster and is a kind of cooperation partner with the Reach as well, as they're both turning around innovation as a main topic, but on different expertise on different topics, for example, battery and new energies on your side. All right, before we head out to our first themed question, I would like to start with our traditional entry question. Who or what inspires you personally the most? They're both heading over to each other.
Yes.
So.
I have to disappoint you because there's not a specific person that inspires me. What inspires me is if I am experiencing something and I think this can be done different in another way. And then I start looking around like what would be ideas to do this different? How can you do it different? Who is doing this? So depending on the subject, I always try to find who is working on this and how are they doing. And then I try to connect that to the customer side. What do customers think about this? Do they want to buy this? Do they want to use it? And that's how I pivot always to new ideas and to companies where I invest or I don't invest. And so I can have 5 heroes on a day because sometimes I think, whoa, these people are so smart, they know so much, and then I can listen for hours to them. And then tomorrow it's another subject and it's other people. So there's not a specific example. But my ultimate goal is to make life better for people. And I try to combine that with building companies. And so my ideal is more a principle. It's more like how can I improve life for everybody?
Well, that's fair. Very well. Thanks. How about you, Michael?
I have to disappoint you too, I think. I have no key role or model as well. So there's no specific person who inspires me or motivates me to do my best or even more than that. But it's more teams or communities which are really take effort to get things done. So it's more like a community thing. Events like today, where different personalities come together and bring insights of their companies, of their process in the last years to the status right now, which is more or less a best practice example for getting successful or getting an idea to a great spot, and especially when those ideas have a sustainable background or a goal, then it's for me personally very, very motivating to do things like that. Yes.
Cool. So all around innovation and finding new ideas on topics. I would like to ask you, as I think you're both turning your practice around green energy, clean energy, batteries in the specific case of the FFB. So the future of battery and energy in general, what can we expect?
I think it's very simple. We want to migrate away from fossil fuels to clean energy. And I compare this in my company with my people to the internet. In the end of the 90s, I got involved with the internet. And I built I helped building, I didn't build. I helped building with a lot of other people, many internet companies. And the only thing we knew always for sure, everything will be online. And that's also how I approach it now. Everything will be clean energy in some time in the future. And we try to accelerate it, to try to contribute. And you need solar panels, you need windmills, you need batteries, you need ammonia, you need hydrogen, you need heat storage. So there are so much things you need to do to achieve this goal. But in the end, it's simple. It will be clean energy only.
Clean energy only.
That you have to believe in that. And if you want to achieve something in that field, you have to believe that this is the way to go. So I have a few PhDs next to me in my company. And if I see an investment opportunity, I give it first to them. And then the question is always, does this contribute to the clean energy in the future? And if it doesn't, we don't invest. And if it does, we want to know more. So it's almost black and white. If it doesn't contribute to the clean energy in the future, we don't look at it.
So that's your major principle in investments.
And initially, a few years ago, there were some initiatives, but now it's unbelievable how many people are doing this.
Mm-hmm. And it's getting even more. So we see that.
Yeah, I think it's the same as the internet.
Yes.
It was funny when Booking.com was founded. There was a book in the Netherlands with all the 100 internet companies in the Netherlands.
Oh, wow.
And but I think every village now has 100 internet companies.
Yes,
and the same will happen here. Not in the beginning, it's people, I don't know it's going to work, but now everybody turns into that new sector and people start believing in it. So the mass is going for it, so it's going to happen. So don't doubt if it will happen.
The early adoption is the field you want to head into and find the most successful or potentially successful cases you can invest in and you can work together with.
Yeah. And I think that's how you build a new future. You have to believe in it. Mm-hmm. And you have to be rational and realistic, of course, but there's so much science and there's so much proof already that it's not that difficult. And not that difficult means it's only 20, 30 years of work to transform the whole world into clean energy.
Cool. Very
and
big
more
words.
And more people will hook on and be part and join the group to do it. So in the end, everybody will work like that. That's what I believe.
Cool. Big words in the beginning of this podcast. Very well. Thank you very much. Yeah. How about you? What do you think? The future of energy?
Same answer. So there's a great perspective for all the new technologies, for sustainable technologies, and there's a new responsibility for those technologies in the governments, in the global governments, in many companies who sees those potentials and also the necessity to use them to become a responsible company, to get comparable in the future, to get resistant in the future as well. And also the FFB project is one example for that. So this project is funded by the government in Germany, and our goal is to make the battery cell production, the battery cells of the future more sustainable and more energy efficient, and to make it also more comparable to production sites or companies outside of the of Europe or Germany. So also this step to battery cells, which is which has multiple use cases. For example, automotive as a big player in that market, but it becomes more and more necessary to do good research and to innovate those technologies to make the product more sustainable, better, and also to get access to it for all necessary cases like automotive or also renewable energies.
Availability is the new thing I think we all learned from the pandemic, even the people who didn't have that in mind at first. So that's probably one of the ideas at FFB, that you want to try to start with the engineering and building in a local context, right? So Münster or Germany as a place where you produce possibilities for green energy storage or battery is probably one of the most important USPs of FFB in Münster.
Yeah, so the goal is to become not only a regional partner for the battery cell innovations. So the goal is to become a central role in Europe to involve in the market, to optimize the market or the industry of the battery cell production, and of course the battery cells, to make it, like I said, like more sustainable, more energy efficient, and then with the goal to make it comparable to Asian production sites. So sustainability is one key role, but the price is also one factor to make it a successful story in Germany and Europe. But yes, this is the aim for the FFB.
I see. So as battery is one specific topic in energy in general, where do you see chances for startups in the energy sector? So are there hot topics they should jump on? What's going on there?
I think there's a huge amount of holes and gaps in the market for software, for hardware, for controlling systems. So PCBs, printed circuit boards, where you put all the chips and then the software on that, and how you manage all these systems together. Because if you go back in history, and you take Europe as an example, we built a huge electricity system, and you can see all of Europe as one machine. All the coal centrals, the gas centrals, the cables, everything is more or less connected. And that is fed by all those big centrals, and you see it very well in Germany. You have a lot of wind and sun, and some days you have to switch off all the stuff and switch on the other part, and you predict it, but the prediction is not always right. But that has to be connected to the factories, to the cars, to the trucks. When do you charge your car? And now, I don't know what's it in Germany, but here in the Netherlands, it's like 3 or 4% of the cars is electric. I guess it's a little bit less in Germany still.
Yes.
But it means there is almost no electricity use yet. And between 13 and 15% of our energy consumption is electric. But if you will take away all this coal, all this gas, all this diesel, all this benzene, etc., 60% of energy will be electric. So the systems need to fourfold, and they're not built for that. And so what will happen, it will take 20, 30, 40 years before all the systems are adjusted. And in the meanwhile, we have to migrate our current systems to the new ones. So maybe we get blackouts if we don't manage that well. And there is so much stuff that needs to be managed with controlling systems, with software. When do you sell? When do you buy electricity? When do you store it? How do you store it? And how do you plan companies that maybe shut down earlier and start up later, or use less in a different period? So there has to be so much managed, and we have to learn so much, that I think for startups this is like almost only one big blue ocean of things that need to be done, but which are not done yet. And so I think for young people with knowledge and understanding of the future, if you can make yourself a vision, I've never seen so much opportunities in my life, and I've been in the internet all my life from day one. And I built 30 unicorns, was involved with 400 companies, and I get completely crazy now of all the opportunities that are out there. I think we don't even have enough young people in Europe to take all the challenges and all the opportunities. So I think if you dive into this new sector, in the new future, and you understand what it is, you can only see opportunities as a young person. So I wish I was 30 years younger and I could start again. Because the opportunities are much bigger than in our internet time. Internet was a big opportunity, but these opportunities are much bigger and much more. The whole world needs to be rebuilt in 20 to 30 years. And what we did to the last 100 years, we have to do it again.
So
with new technologies.
We have those islands of innovations. In between, there's the blue ocean, and startups just need to dive in and find a great range of opportunities to found new companies and new innovations.
Take Elon Musk. You asked about example. He is maybe not my ideal, but he is an example of the new industry. He built Tesla, but at the same time he built the new biggest supercomputer. He built his charging infrastructure. He has to build a battery factory. Everything has to be built from scratch. And understand that we do only 2 or 3% now from the business in that kind of business. So it's almost non-existing. And it's already huge. And so it's taking a lot of time, and there's a lot of opportunities. But you have to ask yourself, how does this new future look like? And you picture that for yourself. You see only gaps or what has to be filled in. It's perfect time for young people.
Perfect time. Very cool. Yeah. Do you have innovation projects at FFB that also try to match those mentioned blue oceans?
So the battery is over 100-year-old technology, and right now there is so much potential increasing for this industry and for this market. And even though we are right now building up the factory, the big factory, the gigafactory, we are right now able to innovate some really cool projects within these small opportunities right now with a really small laboratory. And there's really groundbreaking innovations in that field in different institutions and also at the FFB. And there's, I think, a good chance to use those innovations and those perspectives for losing focus. And there's a lot of technologies who are right now in the proof of concept, and the next step is to increase the maturity level, to industrialize all these innovations. And next year we are having the first research production line where we can increase the research and the product of our research. And even then 2 years later with the Fraunhofer FFB big factory, the gigafactory, there's a lot more potential for ourselves, but in general for the companies in Europe using those infrastructures to optimize and innovate the new generations of battery cell and the battery cell production.
Cool.
It's unbelievable if you look at the battery industry. Like you said, it's 100 years old, maybe older even. Mm-hmm. It's very old. And if you look how good the electric cars are now already, and then you realize that, for example, if you build a sulfur battery with 100% silicon solid state, the batteries will be 10 times better as they are today. And a lot of challenges which we can't solve today will be solved. But to realize what I said in one sentence might take 35 years. Mm-hmm. But we know already what we have to do and where we have to go. So if you are a young person in university, you have the knowledge, you have the relationships, and you have this, you can work all your life to reach this. And you can already vision what that means for the world. Mm-hmm. And imagine that batteries are 10 times better. It's and we already know how to do it. But it's still a lot of work to be done for everybody to achieve this.
Yes.
And that didn't... when I was young, we knew what was going to happen, but nobody could really predict how it would look like. Mm-hmm. And you can almost predict 30, 40, 50 years ahead how the technology of clean energy looks like. So if you are young, you want to achieve something, there's only opportunities. Because we know already what we have to do. And then I think, that's only current knowledge. So if you are in that phase of doing it, you will discover many new things. So there will be much more as what we know now, even.
So we better start now improving. So that
just start working and make sure it's going to happen.
Sure. Very well said. So as you already mastered our opening question, and we are slowly coming to the end of this podcast session, I would like to ask you our closing question to close up this really nice podcast session on clean energy, battery energy, and the future of energy in total. So maybe you start first, Michael, and the question is, what is the most important thing you have learned from your general work experience, and how has it changed you?
Okay, I think the most important thing is that you have a strong team around you. So a team where you can within you can be confident because you can trust them. They fit and they produce a good team result. So I think really the people around you are the most important thing, and also you need a infrastructure and economy around you which allows you to be creative, to be on your own foot, so that you can make own decisions on your way to the expected vision or result. And I think those two are the key, my personal key,
key learnings
key
from
learnings,
work experience,
from the last years,
things you want to keep going in your future work.
Yes.
Cool, thank you. How about you? What
I think
inspired you most?
It's almost overlapping, not 100%, but a lot. What I learned is that if we are at school at young age, we have to perform ourselves. We have to learn, we have to show what we can, that we understand, and we have to be good students. And I think what we lack is, the most important thing is that you can achieve incredibly much more if you work together as a group of people. So if you can build teams, but not small teams, but big teams, and you can work amongst companies together even, so you can work not only with your own teams and not only your teams working for you, with you, but also more experienced people, but also other companies together. The bigger you make the group, the bigger your success will be, and the bigger difference you can make with the rest of the world. So if we want to achieve the new clean world, everybody has to work together, and there will be nice parts of honor and success for everybody. And if somebody wants to do things alone or keep it for himself or herself, then it's not going to work. So, and the older I get, the more I try to build big groups of people who work together on the same vision. And the easier and the faster the success comes. And the more you understand that you are so much as a piece of the whole. And so I see our educations in Western Europe are still not like that. You know, there's still too much on the individual. Mm-hmm. And the individual knowledge, the level of knowledge is very important, but computers with, for example, artificial intelligence can help a lot here, so we should use that. But still, if you want to achieve a lot, you can only do it together. And if you work together, which they do much more in some other parts of the world, like in China and the US, you can go faster. And that's, I think, for Europe, the biggest point to improve, to learn our students and our employees to work together and not keep it for yourself. And the longer I work now 50 years because I started as a child almost, and the more I try to involve a lot of people on the same subject.
Good one. Thank you very much. Great wrap up. Yeah. So you're both thinking about the team working together instead of the individual way, which is a great thing to keep in mind when we're now closing this podcast. So thank you very much for the insights. Thank you very much for being here today. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for being on stage. Thanks for joining this great event, Slush'D 2023. And we're keen to hear from your future projects. And I wish you a very great day today at Slush'D. And stay curious. That's what I want to say in the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you.